life. So that's week number one. You're going to notice the hesitation and doubt begin to diminish. Week number two, now here you'll begin to see that external expression. Boldness now begins to grow. In Acts chapter 2, verses 14 through 16, we read, "Then Peter stepped forward with the 11 other apostles and shouted to the crowd, 'Listen carefully, all of you, fellow Jews and residents of Jerusalem. Make no mistake about this. These people are not drunk, as some of you are assuming. 9 o'clock in the morning is much too early for that. No, what you see was predicted long ago by the prophet Joel.'" Peter had formally denied Jesus. Peter was ashamed of admitting that he was a follower of Christ. But suddenly he experiences this baptism with the Holy Spirit. He receives that gift of speaking in tongues. And as he makes use of that gift, his boldness begins to grow. Whereas in one instant, he was afraid to even admit that he knew Jesus, here in this instance, he is now proclaiming the truth boldly in front of people who he knows he's going to offend. So that boldness now begins to increase, and that boldness affects the look of your worship, of your prayer. In fact, you'll notice here that as you begin to make use of that gift of tongues, that your worship is more expressive, that your prayers have more power behind them in terms of your boldness, in terms of your volume. Now, volume isn't necessarily important in and of itself, but volume when you pray, volume when you worship, is an indication that there is boldness behind it. Not always, but in many instances. There was a young man who I was mentoring who was very shy after he got saved. He was very shy about sharing about his new faith with his family. His family wasn't necessarily from a Christian background. His friends weren't Christians. And so his whole circle, all of his social life, all of his family life, there was really no Christian influence. He was one of the first in his family, in his friend group. And he was very shy about sharing about his faith. He was very shy about telling people about Jesus. He begins to make use of this spiritual gift. He receives the baptism with the Holy Spirit in terms of the influence, and he begins to pray in tongues. And he testified that right around week number 2, suddenly his boldness begins to intensify. And so this once shy person